What made me realize? Well, part of it was just wanting to so much because it's the most, flying. Come on. I couldn't wait to go to bed at night. Okay, I want to go flying.
Did your parents notice a sudden behavioral change?
Oh, not that I know of. I mean,
He wants to go to bed? He wants to go to bed at 7 o'clock. Why does he want to go to bed? Is there something wrong with him, Dorothy? No, he just wants to go to bed.
Yeah.
Did you tell anybody? Did you tell your parents? Did you tell your siblings?
I did, and I just got reactions that, you're kind of crazy or you're messed up or something's wrong with you. Nobody... I wanted to run through the streets of Warsaw shouting, "Hey, everybody, guess what? You have a soul, and it's really awesome, and you can fly." And
at 6, you felt this?
Yes. Oh, the joyous feeling, just run through the streets. Everybody looked.
But I thought you thought everybody could do this.
Well, I learned since, that everybody does this as natural. I mean, even if you don't remember, when you wake up, your soul.
Yeah, but I'm trying to put myself in your shoes at 6. You just had this experience. What made you think that it was unique to you? Because you're looking around, you've got siblings, you go to school, or at least you're about to start school, you look at people on the street. Why did you think they didn't, and you had to shout, run down the street, and tell them?
Because nobody knew what I was talking about when I would bring it up to somebody.
So that was your feedback. They said, were you a middle child?
Next to the last out of 7.
Okay, that's a large family, boy.
Yeah.
My parents had 4. 7. Oh, very tetrahedral, by the way. So you realize from this feedback, they say, John, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You feel okay? Let me take your temperature. Go lie down. So you realize that this is now kind of unique to you at 6, 7. How did that make you feel?
Pretty isolated, but...
Isolated or special? I mean, if you assume Superman's persona, you must have felt really special.
Well, I started getting these emergency calls. I call it like a beeper signal. I go out of body. I mean, sometimes it's when I'm awake. Like, say today, I'll be at the computer. I'll get a notion or a ping from my parent to go get north-south, because you want to lie on a north-south axis with the Earth. And
wait, with the Earth's rotational axis or the magnetic field axis?
The magnetic field axis. Your head toward the north, or either way, your head to the south or north, just as long as you're north-south.
So it doesn't have to be that precise, okay?
You can be like your head's north, that doesn't matter which way you're facing, just as long as you're alive. And because if you're east-west, it's not going to happen. You're out of alignment. So, but I started getting these pings, these emergency signals, very dire, someone's in danger, and I'm compelled to answer them. And
this is between 6 and 12.
I'm 7 years old, yes. I started getting them when I was 7, after I put on the cape and leotards.
Oh. It sounds to me like you're almost designing your universe. It's happening because you think you're Superman.
Well, I am, on Saturday mornings, I'm watching the Superman cartoon, and of course TV's been a source for me for a while. I'm watching Superman, he's flying out into space to smash these asteroids. I'm like, gosh, can I go out into space and move an asteroid? So things I saw on TV, affected what I was going to do or what I was doing. Yes, they played a part in it. So, I started getting these emergency beacons, and I don't think I could say, no, I'm not going. I am compelled. I shoot off to wherever it is, and there's somebody in trouble, and I do my best to help them or save them or whatever
How
it is I'm
do
supposed
you,
to do.
as a disembodied, different frequency entity, How do you help people on the 3D physical plane?
Well, it was a story I shared on my appearance from last March, actually. This happened in 2013, in August. I go to bed. Most nights I lie north-south. If I don't feel like, I lie east-west, but I lie down.
Oh, if you don't want to answer the beeper, you lie east-west.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not. So I lie down. I'm out of, these days I don't have to go be dead or go through that. It's pretty quick. So I switch into Superman mode. Somewhere. I don't know where I am. And the tail end of square opening, and this back end, the snake has crawled into this air duct, is what it turned out to be. And beyond the snake in another room, I can sense the presence of two children. Young children, and the snake has smelled them. The snake is radiating this need. It's like survival. I mean, it's like,
What kind of snake was it? We're not talking about but what, maybe an escaped boa?
Yeah, the snake is I can't think of the name of it. It's, 20 feet long snake.
That's an anaconda.
It's an anaconda.
Oh my God! And where is this? On the planet?
It's on the planet. It was actually. It turns out it's in New Brunswick, Canada.
What?
Yep. Just up the coast from here in Massachusetts.
I hate to say, but anacondas are not native to New Brunswick.
Yeah, it was a exotic pet store. Like tail somehow and coiled up to the ceiling and got in
To get into the vent.
Yeah, it broke the vent, then crawled in.
So the proprietor lived upstairs, or some other family lived upstairs.
Over this pet store, right? There's an apartment on the other side of the pet store, and
Two little kids, two girls, I think you said.
Visiting, I recall they were visiting. And so I back end of the snake.
This is in your energetic, non-corporeal, vibrational form.
Yeah, I look like a Superman. I'm a pretty big dude. I'm not my little skinny.
You understand, John? People listening to this about this.
Of course. So I grab onto the snake and I'm gonna go get out, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. Put her back in the cage.
Corporeal form. You can move a 3D matter, living anaconda.
Yes, like you saw in the movie Ghost with Patrick Swayze.
How?
Well, you learn, they're kicking the can around, but you can learn by slowing your energy enough so you can grab onto this physical thing, onto the matter. Get to work. So, I'm pulling on this snake, and instead of me ripping it out Superman style, the thing is not budging, and I pull a little harder, I realized something was wrong, because it should have come out using should have been sufficient. And something holding it in place. Supernatural. Something holding it now, and I don't understand what's happening. Raw and super powerful. Like, you really have to learn to control them in the spirit world because they are so powerful. And if you...
So was this a malevolent, I mean, we got 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Was this a malevolent entity that basically wanted the snake to eat the boys?
No. So I gave it, Richard, my most powerful, enough force to demolish that building to rubble. I'm screaming. I'm pulling on the snake. Oh! I don't know what's happening. I'm freaking out. So, I know. Help me. It says you have to go now. What are you talking about? Blood. I said... No, I have to go back to my system. Okay. I said fine, but they were going to... Hang on. Here. Okay.
You're on the other side of midnight. My guest this morning is Jonathan Wolf. Pretty... Say, come on. He's a sci-fi. Things are going to get even stranger. On the other side of midnight. This exciting first hour now. The second and third hour of the show is available to Club 19. So, please support the show by subscribing to Club 19.5 and join our very community. To do that, please visit the website, othersideofmidnight.com, and click on the Join Club 19.5 link in the left-hand column. As a Club 19.5 member, you'll gain access to the rest of this show and all previous 350-plus shows that we have done. Now, recent Club 19.5 member archive recordings have the commercials removed, and the sound quality has been enhanced. You'll also receive a dedicated private podcast feed that contains these enhanced show recordings. And you'll be able to download the MP3 files directly from the archive if you prefer. As a Club 19.5 member, you'll also be the first to preview our new videos and reports. We'll be adding exclusive new features to Club 19.5 as we go forward. Boy, have we got some amazing things to tell you about in the coming weeks. So please support the show and don't miss all the exciting new things we have planned. I want to thank all our Club 19.5 members because without your guys' support, this show would not be on the air. Please help us continue growing the show by subscribing to Club 19.5 today. And when I say we really need you, we really need you. Over and out.
Cutie. Hi, Cutie. How are you? How are you? How are you? What? Ah, what happened?
Which is two journalists. Let me just
So they all
Had blown some of the papers up under the barn where the chickens were kept. And yes, so I'm seeing the beginnings of a conflagration engulfing the front of the barn where the chickens are. Of course, I'm a kid, 11, 12 years old, so I dash into the restaurant, which is filled with customers in the afternoon. My parents are running a restaurant, and I scream, "There's a fire! There's a fire out back!" And sitting at one table were a bunch of guys who said, "Oh, we're with the," I forget the name of the town, volunteer fire department, and they all stampeded out the back. They kicked out the boards on the barn, saved the chickens, saved the barn, but it took several minutes for it to even begin to burn a major wooden structure. So the idea that just in brush that you can have a flash like you saw indicates something very different. Now, you know, we've had Dane Wigington on a couple, 3 times, and he's been telling us about the systematic spraying program, the chemtrails, which I think he has another formal scientific name for it, geoengineering, environmental modification, something like that. Anyway, there is a record amount of aluminum, as you said, in this material that's falling out of the stratosphere as part of this coordinated program. And I saw a number the other day that pre-chemtrails, the amount of aluminum, powdered aluminum in the soil was like 7/100th of a pound or something like that per acre. And someone did an assay recently and published these notes. They did another set of acreage, and it turns out now to be something like 1,500 pounds per square acre, which is like insane. Where's it coming from? Obviously from the sky.
Yeah, unless the local rodent population is taken to chewing on what is it, bauxite?
Old abandoned Pepsi cans.
Yeah. I don't think that's probably it. Yeah. That's why I was intrigued by that. So I don't like spouting credentialable facts, but that's and especially since I saw that fire go swoomp a couple weeks ago. They got it out, like I said, but then the highway ended up closed for 3 hours because I think maybe they were freaked out and they were making sure, or they were just muscling us around. What do we matter?
The thing that I'm so intrigued with, and this is where we're going to go off the rails for a lot of people, but I warn you tonight, when you get two generals together in a bar and they start talking, yes, it can go in very strange directions. I have a completely separate idea for why the chemtrail spraying and the aluminum present in the residues. Okay. This goes back to our work. This goes back to our work with the physics. Remember, the one active element that we now have identified in terms of isomers, which are isotopes that have spins in the nucleus in a certain way, and the torsion field model is rotation, rotation, rotation. The one element that seems to block torsion, torsion field, torsion measurements, whatever, is aluminum. And it's because of the isomer spins. I began taking note of all this aluminum falling out of the stratosphere, being dumped into the skies through this systematic spraying. I mean, they used to do this here in New Mexico every single day. You'd look up and you'd see these lines or geometric patterns. And one time, many years ago, there was a big X right over our house in chemtrail spray. Now, you cannot imagine that's a normal airliner going from Dallas to Los Angeles, stopping to make a big X in the sky. I don't think so. This was back when I was on Art Bell a lot, and I was talking about this stuff. Think of this. If aluminum blocks torsion, and the torsion field is basically the conveyor of consciousness for intelligent creatures on planet Earth, and someone is trying to block our connection to the field to keep us dumbed down, could this be the reason for the massive chemtrail spraying with, among other things, active agent aluminum as a residue? And how would How would we test for that? Because it's global. And again, the model says that the physics is rising to a point where people should be really, really, really sharper and catching on to things much quicker. And of course, in some areas, they are. But if there was a systematic effort to keep people dumbed down so they don't notice what's going on politically, culturally, geopolitically, globally, environmentally, etc., what better way than to cut off their access to the field? I mean, the studies that basically trace now the origins of Alzheimer's to an excess of aluminum in the brain, right?
Yeah, I've heard that, yes.
And I think it's the same thing. I think Alzheimer's is basically when you're cut off from the field or source or whatever you want to call it, people lose their minds. And I think every Alzheimer's case where they have taken the trouble to trace the aluminum content, they find a correlation. Now, correlation is not causation, but if this is really, if we're really walking VR examples, that consciousness is not in your brain, but your brain is basically a transceiver, so it connects to the you that really is, somewhere up the line, other dimension, higher dimension, in the field, whatever. If you cut off that connection,